The USC Trojans straight the bed on Friday night. We go down to Las Vegas. We thought things were going to be different this time around, but it wasn't. And this time it was much worse. We go to the Black Star, aka Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and we straight get put in a spliff. Our defense looked absolutely atrocious. Our offense stalled after a great start. We thought everything was going to be great. We thought we was going to go away with the win. We was up 17-3 at one point. And we just straight the bed. A horrible second quarter led to a horrible demise. Just so many things I want to talk about in this game, man. And of course, we're not going to the college football playoff. As you saw yesterday, Georgia's number 1, Michigan number 2, TCU is 3, and the Ohio State Buckeyes are resurrected at number 4, with Alabama and Tennessee being the first 2 teams out. So let's see, I believe if my memory is correct, Peach Bowl will be Georgia and Ohio State. I think the other semifinal game is the Fiesta Bowl. If my memory is correct, somebody correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But it's Michigan and TCU meeting in the other game. But man, oh man, if we had won Friday night, we really thought things were going to be different. And things got much worse. We thought we was going to be physical with Utah. We thought we was going to match their physicality. But we did not. So let's go ahead and get into what happened on Friday night. So we go to kickoff. We get the ball first. First play was Caleb Williams running for 11 yards. Next play, he finds Jordan Addison. And then on second down, it was a run by Austin Jones. Then, for some reason, we call timeout. And then, it's 3rd and 2. Austin Jones gets a 1-yard run. So now we got 4th and 1. 4th and 1, Caleb Williams runs for 3 yards on an option keeper. Another first down. Then we drop a bomb on Utah. Taj Williams is wide open, finds a soft spot behind the safeties, makes a big 50-yard catch. And then the following play, we give it to him again. He goes into the end zone for a touchdown. 17-3, then Utah drives downfield. Eventually they get a field goal. Next drive, we get another touchdown. So the next drive, I believe, we did a great mixture of running and passing the ball. Eventually, this is the play where we went forward on 4th and 2. If my memory is correct, we do a play fake, and he finds a wide open Raleigh Brown for a touchdown inside the Utah 5. A great start to the game. And then what happens on the next drive, we force another punt for Utah. They did a quick 3 and out. We really thought our defense was going to be on it today. So then, in my opinion, this is where it starts going down here for us. So, after a great stop by our defense, we get the ball back on offense, and eventually we get back inside the 5-yard line again. A great run by Austin Jones sets up a 1st and goal. The first play, we decide to do an option keeper, which we should have kept. We should have kept running the ball. But instead of Caleb Williams keeping the ball, he gives it out to Austin Jones. Caleb Williams has a wide open path into the end zone, and he did not keep it. And I'm still wondering why. The next play, 2nd and goal, we're trying to find our tight end in the back of the end zone, but he can't get a foot in. Nice effort, though. The next play, we throw a slant pass to Jordan Addison. And one of the best cornerbacks in the country, in Phillips, who should be a Thorpe Award finalist if my memory is correct. He bats the ball down, but if you see the replay, he has his left arm wrapped around him. But of course, they don't call that. So eventually, they kick the field goal. It's good. It's now 17-3. Then we go to Utah's next drive. This is where we got the turnover. So it's a pass up the middle by Cam Rising. Parks makes the catch. And then Max Williams strips him. Bryson Shaw jumps on it. At this point, I'm like, we're going to run away with this game. Boy, was I, God. Oh, man. I was wrong about that, man. Anyway. So, USC gets the ball back. This time, eventually, we're facing a 4th and 8. And I believe this was the start of the momentum for Utah. We're in our own territory. We're near midfield. We do a pass play. Caleb's under pressure. The pass falls incomplete. And at that point, I was like, we should have pinned them deep. Now, I'm all for excitement. I'm all for letting your nuts hang on the football field and all that good shit. But sometimes you have to play field position. So now we're in the second quarter. The worst second quarter of the season for the USC Trojans. An absolutely horrific second quarter. So Utah gets the ball. They do what they do best. Run the ball. Give it to the tight ends. Eventually give it to the wide receivers. Submission pretty much everything. And boom, they score a touchdown. They finally get in the end zone. They have momentum. It's now a ball game. After showing promise, because at one point, I really felt that we could have been up at least 28-0. 28-3, my bad. So after that, offense is back on the field. We try to do something, and then eventually, Caleb Williams gets injured on that long run. And I didn't even know he was injured. I thought everything was okay. He got back up. I didn't even notice he was limping. I didn't know that until we was getting ready to come out for the second half. I was like, damn. But, so yeah, second quarter comes around. Eventually, Utah decides to, let's keep mixing it up. And eventually, they broke us down on defense. We could not tackle. We could not get coverages. We could not get pressure on Cam Rising. And that was the problem from the first time we played them. It was literally a repeat of what we did the first game. We was up by a good margin. Well, not a good margin, but a decent margin. And then eventually we give them momentum and we let them back in the game. It's always something with Utah that's a catalyst, and they just take advantage of it. So the drive where they tied the game really pissed me off. We was missing tackles. We was not reacting fast enough. When the ball got released, you got receivers and tight ends finding soft spots in the zone, and Cam Rising is just picking them apart. Dalton Kincaid had a late start to the game, but he did what he had to do for his team. And god dang, man. So yeah, the game's tied at 17. And the way that the second quarter ended for us was an absolute mess. I don't know who number 44 is on special teams, but he don't need to be on special teams no more after that. So they kick the ball off. It's a little squib kick. 44 for USC gets it, decides to toss it to Relief Brown, and the ball goes over his head. Damn near had a safety on that play. He had to recover it and then get down, and eventually the clock runs out in the first half. So now the game's tied at 17, and I'm looking like, what the f is going on with this team? Like, what the hell, man? So then we go to the second half. And now the bad news starts before the second half even begins. So we learn that Caleb Williams gets injured. And then on top of that, Utah gets the ball first in the first half. Well, in the second half, my bad. Now, the defense, they did their thing. But you could tell that the offense was stalled because of the injury to Caleb Williams. Utah kept getting sacks. They kept getting to Caleb. The run ability was gone, which affected the run game, because if you look at the stats, USC only had 56 yards rushing the entire game. 56 yards rushing. A lot of that came off sacks. But Austin Jones didn't get the ball enough, in my opinion. I just think after they tied the game, we started to panic. Austin Jones only had 15 carries for 35 yards. Caleb Williams had 21 on 12. He would have had more, but he had so many sacks on him, man. But, yeah. So, let's look at the running game for Utah real quick. So, you got, Jackson. Jaquindon Jackson had over 105 yards on 13 carries. And he murdered us on both of his touchdown runs. Just straight murdered us. Michael Bernard had 88 on 11 and a touchdown. We just got straight murdered in the trenches in this game. Utah had over 200 yards rushing. 200 yards. 223 to be more precise. We only had 56. And if you saw our wins, the run game was very important. I know a lot of people talk about Caleb Williams and his ability, and rightfully so. But the run game was very essential to all our wins. And the one time we could not run the football, it cost us drastically, especially with Caleb Williams being injured. So let's go on to the third quarter. And in my opinion, this is the play that sealed our fate. So we're facing a 30-19 situation. Utah's in the shotgun. It's a pass up the middle. The USC Trojans are playing zone. A pass up the middle to Parks. Makes the catch. And then Lutchen gets a hold of him. And instead of wrapping him up and making a tackle, he decides to try to strip the ball first. Eventually, Parks breaks that tackle. And he takes it to the crib. One of the worst tackling efforts I've ever seen in my life on the football field, man. And then add on top of that, we still couldn't score on offense. At this point, Utah, for the rest of the third quarter, is deciding to slow down the pace, get the run game going, fatigue us in the trenches, and then they just buried us in the fourth quarter. Just an absolute mess. Now we was up what? 31 to they was up 31 to 17 at one point. Eventually we would get another touchdown. But then what happened on the next possession? We're facing another tight end. Now coming into this game, a lot of USC fans was worried about Dalton Kincaid. And then we forgot about Yassin on the other side. Yassin makes a great catch on the left sideline. He tries to get away from Kalen Bullock. Bullock is not even trying to make a tackle first. His first priority is to strip the ball. He fails at that. He gets stiffed on, and Yes is going into the end zone to extend the lead. An absolute mess, man. Bullock did not have a good game tonight. Did not have a good game that night. Bullock got dragged on 2 of those touchdowns, especially the second to last rushing touchdown. Man got dragged into the end zone. Just an absolute mess. So when we go into the team stats, another stat line that says a lot about this game. The USC Trojans only converted 1 third down the entire game. 1 third down. 1. We were 3 for 5 on 4th down efficiency, but we only converted 1 third down situation, which is an absolute mess. And with that being said, we are now out of the college football playoff. We turned the ball over twice, both by Caleb Williams. We lost a fumble and we lost an interception. So now it's coming to the point where Lincoln Riley has to do some serious reassessments in the offseason, starting with the transfer portal. We have to get tough in the trenches, offense and defense, because the right side of our offensive line was absolutely ass cheeks. They was straight ass Friday night, especially on the right side. Caleb Williams was sacked 7 times in this game, man. And that reminded me, well, matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to talk about that later. So with that being said, we lose to Utah again. They beat us up front again. And now we're on our way to the Cotton Bowl. Well, the good news is it's a bowl game after New Year's. But the bad news is it's not the goal that we wanted to achieve. Like I was hoping, I didn't make no expectations before the season started, but the way we was looking, I was hoping we would at least make the college football playoff. But we're on our way to the Cotton Bowl, and we're taking on the Tulane Green Wave of the AAC. Tulane is a team, before this season, has not beaten a ranked opponent in almost 40 years. 4 decades. This team is really good. They can run the ball, and that's something that we're not good at stopping. But as a matter of fact, our defense as a whole is not good. Because here goes another stat that I forgot to tell y'all in this game against the Utah Utes in the Pac-12 championship game. USC missed 22 tackles. 22 tackles. Do you know how bad that is, man? Because we don't wrap up. And then we're too worried about forcing fumbles first. Tackling was so bad. This is one of the worst efforts as far as tackling I ever seen. Lincoln Riley has to reassess his defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure he's going to keep Alex Grinch for at least one more season, but eventually some things are going to have to change. And here goes one thing that needs to change too. We need a special teams coach. A lot of ill-advised situations where we had to return it. Special teams was just not good this season for USC. And it showed in this game. It showed in that UCLA game. And if we don't get that fixed, we're going to keep getting torched up front on defense and continuing to depend on our offense to make long drives. We got to give them a break, man. But anyway, so we're facing the Tulane Green Wave and the Cotton Bowl. We're going back to Dallas, Texas. The game's on January 2nd. Now, if you remember, the last two times that USC has gone to this stadium in Dallas, Texas, have not paved well for us. First time, it was Clay Helton's first game as permanent head coach for the USC Trojans, and we're taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Jalen Hurts was just a freshman. They had Minkah Fitzpatrick on his team and a lot of other cats that's in the NFL now. But we thought that we were ready, and we was far from ready. We didn't even look prepared to play for this game. We lost 52-6. We did not get in the end zone not one damn time. And the highlights of this game that everybody likes to show is Adoree Jackson chasing down Damian Harris on two long run plays. That team started off 1-3, eventually won 10 games in a row to finish out the season, including the Rose Bowl Classic versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. That was the team that had Chris Godwin. That was the team that had Saquon Barkley. And we had to come back from 3 possessions in order to beat them. The second time we went there was 1 year later. We're facing Ohio State. This time it's a Cotton Bowl game. We just won the Pac-12 title with Sam Darnold. This is the year after Juju Smith-Schuster and Adoree Jackson left. So we're facing Ohio State. We get bullied up front. The score did not indicate how bad this game really was. Sam Darnold got sacked 10 times in this game. 10. We did not look good. We kept turning the ball over on offense, and we're just soft and frail up on the defensive side of the ball. Ohio State exposed us so bad. And then you know the rest of the story. We went on to face what? We looked like trash in 2018, 2019. I don't even count 2020, the COVID season, and of course 2021, the worst USC Trojan team I ever seen. But if we're talking about beating Tulane and getting out of this Dallas, Texas curse, we have to be physical because Tulane can run the football. Tulane has a good balance as far as offense, but their strength on offense is running the football. They have a nice front four. They're dangerous. And if we're not tough up front, we're not going to beat them, man. I expect a lot of Tulane fans to be there. I expect a lot of USC Trojan fans to be there. But in the end, if we're talking about beating Tulane, we have to be physical up front. So, yeah, the coaching carousel is officially underway, as well as the transfer portal. There's a lot of players that are going into the portal, man. So, in case you don't know, Deion Sanders is now the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, a team that has been dead for damn near 2 decades. And I'm pretty sure at this point, Deion's more needed in Boulder, Colorado than he is in Jackson, Mississippi. But there's a lot of petty Jackson State fans that are very mad that he's leaving. You got Auburn with their new head coach, Hugh Freeze. There's a lot of mixed feelings about that hire. A lot of Auburn fans don't like it, but there's Auburn fans that say they do like it. So he did keep Cadillac, so that's something to be happy about. And then you have South Florida. They're taking Tennessee's offensive coordinator. He's going down to Tampa to take that job. The head coach of the Louisville Cardinals, he's leaving Louisville. He's taking, I believe he is taking, I forgot what it was. That's right, now I remember. He's taking the Cincinnati job. I wonder what that's about. He got up out of Louisville, Kentucky real quick. Oh, look at this. Bowling Green wins the MAC. That remember, I got to go back on YouTube and see who actually won the MAC title in real life. Because that conference was actually pretty entertaining. A lot of people don't know about the MAC. But the matching games during the week are very, very entertaining. But that's a wrap, man. I'm still mad at the fact that we got put in the split Friday night. All we had to do was win, and we'd be right there where Ohio State is. But then again, if we was there with Ohio State, I do feel that Georgia would run all over our defense. Like, Georgia would straight embarrass our defense if we played them. I could really, really see that. I don't think we're college football playoff ready just yet. There's still a lot of things that need to be figured out on this team, mainly on defense. We need to get deeper, and we need to get more talented. But thank y'all for watching, man. Let's see how these bowl games looking like. Peace.